Any of you that have watched my channel for any period of time, you know I like toys. And here I am at the ultimate Chinese mini excavator toy box, the largest dealership in America that sells Chinese mini excavators. On this channel, we've already done a tour of a Chinese mini skid steer production facility, the manufacturer where they build them. But here, only 2 hours from my house, I have America's largest Chinese mini excavator facility. That's actually how I got into these, to tell you the truth. A year and a half ago, I was looking online. I thought they were really cool. I found out there was a dealership near me, only 2 hours away. This place, K&R Equipment. So I came here and I got the little blue 1-ton mini excavator you see in my videos. And that's how my YouTube journey started. I started with that machine and I did a review on it. And I guess people liked it. So I started doing more and more reviews and showing you guys what kinds of things I can do with my Chinese mini excavator and prove to you that it's not junk. So a lot of people say, why can't I just go to the auction and buy one of these cheap little machines? Well, you can. Go to the auction, pick one up. I hear people are getting them for $3,000 or $4,000 at some auctions. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into that. So I'm of the opinion that I want it now. I want it quality. I want parts availability. I want to be able to service it. I want to know what I'm getting into. And this place answers that for you. So I'm about to take you on a tour of their whole facility. I'm going to show you where they assemble these, where they come in crates and they have the whole assembly room where they put them all together and they put the fluid in them and they make sure all the bolts are tight and all the things you guys have questions about with these Chinese machines. I gotta say, this should be my green. This should be our life in trees green. I need that color in my life. Too bad I bought almost this exact same machine in baby blue. Darn it. That green looks sick. So we're gonna meet with the owner in here and he's gonna walk us through this whole thing. He's gonna show us why he feels it's better to buy from a dealership than it is to go to an auction or maybe import from China. Because all of those could be good routes depending on your needs and your purposes. One of the things that I liked about coming to a place like this, well, honestly, I didn't have the cash at the time. I needed a piece of equipment to do some work. I didn't need it, I wanted one. So I bought one. Well, how did I buy it? Well, because I went to a dealership, I went to my local credit union and I said, hey, this dealership's got this piece of equipment and I'd like to purchase it. And I said, oh, okay, a tractor, no problem. Have them send us an estimate or invoice, and no problem. So I financed it and it was cheap and it wasn't a big deal. And my payment's like $160 a month for a little 1-ton mini excavator. I couldn't have done that at the auction. I couldn't have done that if I bought it from overseas. $160 a month. Do you think I can figure out a way to make that payment every month with that machine? Duh. So now we're about to walk inside and we're gonna get that tour of this place. And this place is unreal. Like, where else can you go and put your hands on and sit in and actually touch and feel this many of these Chinese machines? I don't think there is another place. I think this is it. Check it out. So inside the showroom here, I've got the full lineup, just like any old dealership would. But these are the Chinese machines. So if you want to touch them, you want to see them, it's not just videos online, but you can actually walk in and play with them. It's like life-size Tonka toys all over the place. So this is Ron with K&R Equipment. I drug him out of his office and asked him to give us a tour. So I'm going to be asking him a variety of questions that I already know the answer to, but I just want you guys to know exactly what this place is and what he does here and why I think it's so awesome and why I'm here for my second machine from this place within the last 2 years.
There you go. So right now we're in the showroom here, and we try to keep a few units in here. It's kind of a tight space, but XH26 fits in here just fine. That's what you have right here. This is our 5,500 pound machine. And then right next to it over here is a little gas machine. So huge difference there.
So some people have questions like you see on Facebook Marketplace and you see in these auctions, you can buy Chinese equipment
Absolutely.
cheap, super cheap. And so why in the world would somebody want to come here and spend the money? Now, I already know the answer to this.
Of course.
But why would they not just go to the auction and buy one of those cheapy little $4,000 machines? Aren't they the same?
Not particularly. So parts, huge thing. And we'll go over that in a little bit when we get back to that area.
Sweet.
But we'll go ahead and highlight that. Parts, that's the main deal. Support, we know the machines. And then most importantly, there is actually differences, Greg. So from the outside shell, they might look the same. We might use even some of the same raw materials for your boom, your buckets, and some body panels and stuff. But the heart of the machine is what counts. And that's where you're going to find better spool valves. You're going to find a better pump, better drives that turn your tracks. You know, spool valve's a huge deal. A lot of guys think it's the pump, but the spool valve has to have feathering to it. You know, that's where a machine shop does it properly. Your spools that go in and out, basically that are connected to your control sticks, they have a groove in there to where it lets in minimal fluid at first, and then it lets the larger amount flow. That way you get that smoothness when you're operating, and it's not just bouncing you back and forth like you're going to fly off the machine.
So I've read online a lot of guys buy these little auction machines and they're really jerky and really bumpy. Now mine can be if I'm really sloppy with the controls.
Right.
But my little 1 ton, it can actually be pretty smooth if I want it to be. Now that I'm more used to it, I can actually make it smooth, and that's why.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to. Of course, any machine that's lightweight, 1 ton, just like you say, you're going to be able to move the controls fast and make it jump around. You know, it's got to do what you're telling it to do, and that's exactly what it's doing. It's just following directions. But if you sit here and put a little bit of work into it, you can actually keep it from doing that. So.
Yes, I've learned that. But you also work on them here. Like when I say work on them, they come disassembled, partially disassembled, and you put them together here.
That's correct. So when the machines come in, we're going to be walking to a surprise back there. I'll be honest, I haven't even looked back there for a couple hours. It changes constantly. But yeah, when the machines come in, basically it's just a body. So we're installing your cage, your roof, and then all the boom components. They're getting pinned on our side. We're running the hoses, or we're connecting the hard plumb lines, all that. Then we're going through oils, hydraulic fluid, change it. Simple as that. So all them things add up. American hydraulic fluid, you know, it's technically a little bit better. American oil, same thing, technically a little bit better. So all these little steps, they add up in the long run and the longevity of the machine.
Do you have any machines back there that just came in that are still disassembled that we could show?
I'm hoping, hey, listen, I think you already may have passed through whenever you came in the door.
I think I saw some in the corner.
You might know more than me. We'll just have to see. So let's go check it out.
Cool.
All right.
So this is how the little 1 tons like mine come in.
This is how the 1 tons come in, and actually quite a few of the machines, even our big 16,000 pound machines,
Really?
will sometimes come without booms. or at least just the stick, the outer boom. So yeah, this is what you start with. They've done everything to our specs here. Next step is we get these set down with the forklift, get them on the ground, and get them uncovered. And a lot of our parts are already sitting on here ready to go. Right here, control stick. Then if you dig down in here, if I can get to it, there we go. Nicely packed cylinder ready to go. And I've got a couple of those down there for all of your outer boom.
So they pack all the parts that you want to put on the machine with the machine, and you assemble them all.
That is correct.
So the complaint about loose bolts and check all your bolts with those cheapy little machines you buy on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, you don't have to worry about that with these.
Right,
Because
yeah.
you're tightening all the bolts.
We're doing them here in-house, and you know, the joke is hopefully it's not a Friday at 5, you know. I guess you'll be calling us if there is a loose bolt, but you know, honestly, that complaint's been minimal. I think we've only heard that once or twice, so it happens with anybody, but we try hard as possible to make it not happen. We have a checklist even, so we've got a really detailed checklist that goes through every bolt, oils, everything you can think of.
So they come in, they're here to take them off of the forklift, and then where do they go?
Two places. It depends on the batch that we're running. So right now, these are actually just back storage. These are unsold units. In case a dealer wants them, sometimes they will take them this way. We have 2 certified dealers in the group. What that means is they've came here to Oklahoma, they went through the process to properly assemble a machine, so they're certified to build them.
Huh.
New information there for you. I don't know if you knew that one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if they order up, well, these machines are ready to ship to them, and when we go outside in a minute, you'll see the booms and stuff like that. But anyways, to answer your question, if we were only doing 6 machines, it would actually be done in the build room over here. If we were doing a large batch, like 12 to 15 machines, we'll just run them all the way across the warehouse here and get our tool carts and roll them out here and take off on them.
Can we get a little tour of the assembly room?
Yeah, let's check it out.
So in here you have hydraulic fluid, American hydraulic fluid, and
Right.
you change out the oil.
Oil and hydraulic fluid.
And you spill a bunch on the floor just like I do.
Yeah, definitely. So this room is a mess because they did build, I think, on Friday, and those units just rolled out. So unfortunately, we didn't get time to get all the oil dry down and get this room cleaned up. But hey, you're getting the real picture here.
Man, I don't think there's anybody out there that's ever changed the oil or, from my experience, hydraulic fluid on these things without making a mess.
Right, and that's the thing. Whenever we're doing the hookups out here on the boom and everything, it's inedible. Sometimes we'll have to bleed lines. It just makes us feel better. You know, it'll miss the pan. So it happens. And here it is.
So this is a 55-gallon drum of fluid?
55-gallon drum of TrueGuard, which is a brand that we use, and that's a AW46.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I bought, except my AW46 was from O'Reilly's, and it cost $75 for 5 gallon.
Yeah, you know,
I learned my lesson.
The 55-gallon, I don't look at the bills, but I want to just take a guess and a stab at it. I think it's $600 or $700. So, and we go through that very quickly. There's a couple more outside too.
Okay, and then the booms and everything that come in, you said you've got those outside?
Yeah, we've got those outside, so if you want, we can go ahead and take a look, or I can show you the parts here. It's up to you.
Yeah, before we go outside, because it's a cold day in Oklahoma.
I got to get my jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, can we get a tour of your parts area?
Yeah, we'll give you a quick overview of that. This is definitely something we want to show sometimes. Greg, I'll let you scoot down here.
I've actually already gotten a tour of this. I had a private tour myself,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to show you guys the tour.
Yeah, so second look here. So as we go down the row here, lots of hydraulic lines. These are what we call shorts. So basically they're just little specialty hoses. There's no sense in us having them made. Although here next week we will actually be able to make hoses on site, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So we'll be manufacturing hoses here on site for repair purposes, not for the manufacturing side.
I have broken a line on mine, just ramming something into it carelessly.
It happens.
They don't. Those rubber hoses don't like to have heavy machines rammed into them.
Exactly. Or if you just you have one hooked up out there and you find the perfect good tree branch, you know, that's nice and sturdy, and just hook it, and it just rips it apart.
I haven't done that yet, but I'm sure my day might be coming.
I've actually done that on a Kubota machine many years ago. And the funny thing about that, the only reason I remember is I did it 3 times in a row. It's like, you'd think you would learn. I kept hooking it. So manuals up here, specialty pins. These right here are going to be electromagnetic hydraulic valves. Basically, they redivert fluid on a 12-volt signal.
So I want to rewind real quick. You said manuals.
Right.
So these are your manuals, like you guys?
Yeah, so these are basic instruction manuals. Don't get too excited. They're not repair manuals or anything. That would have to be something separate. We're working on that in the background, but I don't think we're going to get it rolled out till mid next year. Here's another thing. A lot of our machines are going to be built with, you know, actual Japanese motors like Yanmar and Kubota. So we're going to have that full American Yanmar manual or Kubota manual. And that's going to be really important for doing maintenance on that particular engine, you know, because that's not always covered in the instruction manual for the excavator itself. So you need that separate detailed manual and book on the engine.
I did not have that.
It's usually a thick one too, so.
Okay, I just wanted to pause on that because I personally had trouble with my Chinese machine, not from you. And I just didn't know what fluid to use, and I didn't know how much fluid it held, and I don't know. Google was my friend, and it sure would have been nice to have a book.
The book's helpful. Otherwise, if it doesn't say it in there, we always tell everybody, give us a call. You know, we've got our support team up there. That's what, you know, you saw the desk.
Yeah.
Give them a call, and they're going to be able to help you. Fittings. Fittings are a huge deal for us. Some of the stuff is specialty sized. We have all that. We have these little important things. I see it on the Facebook group. A lot of guys are struggling to find these. That's because, well, we bought them all. I'm just kidding. These are grease tensioners right here.
And they're tracks.
Yeah, and they're really pricey in general. Through us, through Amazon, anybody. But we keep them on hand because they're hard to come by. And this is going to be, I believe, for an XH42 in particular. But that's a grease tensioner. It's basically a one-way valve, lets grease go in but not come out. And a lot of guys, I'll teach you a little trick. They don't understand that when you need to bleed your tracks out for, like, if you're going to change out tracks or something like that, they make the mistake of unscrewing the middle, and it actually damages the seal and totals this part out. You're actually supposed to take this entire part out of the machine. So remember that, guys. It's going to be the same on even your cats and stuff like that for the most part. These are more specialty pins and lots of seals. So moving on down here on the bottom shelf, you've got some rollers and tensioners there, some manual style tensioners. And then
that's a common question I have people ask me with a Chinese machine. What if you need new sprockets? What if you need the pulleys? Because a lot of those auction units, they break all the time.
Super hard to come by.
They don't even last 10 hours, I've read.
Super hard to come by. And Greg, my guys get those calls all day. They need all these rare parts like, you know, pulleys, tensioners, sprockets, and, you know, they bought a machine at auction and we don't know what to tell them. We cannot supply the auction market too. And then the fact that our parts sometimes aren't interchangeable. Some are, but some aren't. It's too risky for us to sell them anyway because it may not even fit.
Well, one of the reasons I'm back here again is because my machine I bought from you a year and a half ago, I haven't needed any parts.
That's good, I guess.
I was just driving it this morning and it's fine. It's still slow.
Yeah.
But it works.
There you go. So spare decals over here on this side, and we're missing out a little bit here. I'm sorry I robbed you of that, but we're actually adding 2 more rack shelves this way. As you can see, you're already here and kind of looked around. They're doing construction out there. We're adding to the building, and a lot of our parts are boxed up. They're hidden over there in the corner, so we're missing out on a little bit. It's going to be more. This right here is a spool valve. This is what we were talking about earlier. They go to a little more trouble on ours. We use a different factory completely for these than the auction units because they do the feathering, and that's important. So that right there, I believe, is for an XX20, and the one below it, I think, is going to be for 14 series in general and fit your machine.
When you have those here just for a what if somebody messed up their machine, like a tree fell on, like I did mine.
Right, right. And if you snapped one of these control levers on the other side off completely, you know, you could weld it, or we have that, you know, or we have that individual part, which is over here in boxes.
I don't know if you guys watched my video where I took the roof off my little 1-ton I bought from Ron, and I pushed on a tree. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
A branch hit me in the head. It landed on my hand that was on the drive lever, bent it to the ground. I called Ron and I said, man, can you sell me one of these? He's like, I can, but man, can't you just have somebody weld it up? I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think about that. Let me try that.
Right.
And I didn't have to call back because we welded it back up and it was fine.
That's the thing. We'll try to save you if we can, if it's something simple like that. So as you can see, all of our small cylinders are here. And again, some of the other ones outside. We're getting organized, working on it. Drive motors, XH42 pump, it looks like, and then rollers and swing motors, all right there. Over here,
those you don't have to worry about replacing very often. That would be a very rare thing. But
they're a rare bear for sure. It's not something we really get calls on, but we got to have them. Over here, we have pilot hydraulic controls for various machines. They are all labeled. Looks like a XH20 in particular right there. And then we have manual sticks, just backup sticks if needed, like a tree branch falls on one. So moving along here, we have ignition switches, battery kill switches, gauges, lots of gauges as you can see there. Solenoids. What else do we have?
So are the little gauges common to go out?
The little gauges, you know, sometimes they'll get water in them. Yeah, it can happen. You get a super bad rain, or they're left outside inedibly, a little bit of sun damage or something like that.
I gotcha.
We don't get that call very often, but again, we got to have them.
And from my motorcycle days, I know you always need to have cables around because cables break.
And as you can see, there's a massive pile of cables there.
Yeah.
So lots of throttle cables.
I can't tell you how many throttle cables I've had to buy for motorcycles throughout the years.
Right. Over here, filters. That's the best way to explain it.
Lots of filters.
You've got oil, you've got fuel, firstary, secondary fuel, you've got hydraulic, air, every kind of filter you can think of.
And Kubota, Briggs & Stratton, probably Yanmar stuff around here
Yanmar, usually the brown boxes, Perkins as well.
And you have engines here.
I have engines here. At the moment, I only have one on the shelf in here, and it looks like a little D722 Kubota. But usually there's about 6 engines across there in those empty bays.
And you have body parts and seats and stuff.
Body parts and seats, and that's over on the other aisle there. You know, there's still just the gas engine and the little Kubota there, and then all the body parts are over there.
So these engines here, you guys sell them, but you don't install them.
That's correct. So we keep spare engines just like spare parts. So these are complete crate engines. So a crate engine, you're going to have alternator water pump. As you can see, the belt's on there, the fan's there, everything's there.
Oil filters on there.
Oil filters on it, it's ready to go. You're not just getting, you know, the engine block only. It's all there. Over here, we have, and again, disorganized a little bit, but we have weird pieces like counterweight. Body parts. I see some canopy bars there. Plates.
Seats with headrests.
Seats with and without headrest. This right here just hasn't been inventoried yet, but that is an entire line set for, I believe, our new XH14-2 series gas excavator. So anytime we order in a new unit, we'll get stuff like that. Basically, you buy a whole nother unit of parts. Technically, you could take all those parts and spend some good time and build it from scratch right here. Then I guess we could say USA made, right? Is that how that works?
Man, looking at this thing, this is a beast. Like,
This
I
is a
have a little
monster.
mini skid, but it's not that beastly.
This is
And look at the ground clearance on this thing.
it's a monster. It sets up really high, and
Can I stand on it?
yeah, jump on it. 42 inches wide,
And that's a beast.
and that's our diesel machine, XCL30. We also have a XCL30-2, which is a more narrow one in the series for getting in tight places. But
And
this one's like a bulldozer.
And it's got springs.
Yeah, spring loaded, nice and
that's
comfy.
awesome.
That way you hit those harsh dips. It's easier on your knees.
Until you crawl underneath it and look and see you've got a bunch of ground clearance.
There's a lot of ground, and it's armored underneath all the way, completely. Steel plate underneath. It's armored like a tank.
Okay.
Only way to go with a skid steer.
I need to not come back in here and look at this stuff, man. This is not good. I'm just trying to do a tour today. I'm not trying to buy
Right.
stuff.
Right?
Okay, so outside you have attachments, the booms, all that stuff, the rest of the machines?
Right. The rest of the machines. So you ready to head out that way and check it out?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me go get my jacket.
Go play in the cold. Maybe we can do snow angels.
Yep. I get cold quick, so we're going to have to move quick out there. You'll start hearing me shake.
So with all this noise in the background, what this is his dealership is expanding heavily. How big is this?
100 by 80.
How big is your current?
The whole entire building is 120 by 80, I
So
believe.
you're doubling.
Almost. Yeah, 20 foot shy of doubling. Right. A lot of that's offices up there. I believe it's 4674 divided. Hopefully I got those numbers right. Something like that.
Okay. So until that's done, outside you have stuff.
Right. Outside we have stuff, which we hate it being outside because of the weather, but like you say, not for long. So booms, sticks,
And that color's called Our Life in Trees green.
if you want to call it that. We'll go with it. It's more of a drab green, but yeah, that's perfectly fine. Buckets, canopies, canopy bars, more booms and sticks, and yeah, that's really all that's missing. The rest was on the inside. And then we've got a little bit of inventory out here. There's the hydraulic fluid that we were talking about. We keep in mass stores.
Oh yeah.
It's making a good can holder there.
And then out here, this is just dealer stock. This is just stuff you have here if somebody wanted to
Right.
come. Plus, that really intrigues me to no end, and you told me about that before. So you talk to your guys in China, and you tell them what you want, and sometimes they send you a prototype, and you yay or nay and make modifications so your machines are specifically made for you.
Right. So you're talking about the prototype, XH14-2 prototype there. That machine, and what we did is we didn't have a chassis ready for it yet in China. So we put it on an RH14G chassis. Okay?
Which is way too small for it.
It's way too small for it.
It should be seen in the Jetsons or some cartoon.
Right. It looks like it's just kind of floating on this little bit. Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like. But the upper part was ready to go. So we needed to move forward and go ahead and get things tested. So they sent it out. And then we finished by developing the larger X chassis. And now those are complete. Some are already here and more are on the way. So
Cool.
yeah, I mean, that's part of the process, man. It makes it pretty cool that we can, do stuff like that. And yeah, that machine is technically for sale if somebody wanted it. It is a prototype. It's nothing special.
So things like that, all these parts here, your room where you assemble them, a bunch of the many things that can set you apart from all these other places that claim to be dealers, but really they're just resellers. They go to auctions, they buy a whole bunch of machines, they might buy a container and they ship them over here, and then they're just selling those things.
Right.
They don't have the support, they don't have the parts. For guys like me, can't run to your local credit union and
Right.
go give them an invoice from you and go finance it for $160 a month.
Right.
That's what drew me in here, because I just didn't have the cash to go out and just buy one.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we do have financing partners, we have shipping partners, all that's available. We have a Rolodex full to get you connected.
And I just want to point out in the background, there's a guy that flew out here from California, bought a machine, rented a Penske truck. He's loaded in the back of the Penske truck right now, and he's about to drive that thing back to California.
And he took his roll bars off. So
it'll fit in there.
Yeah, so it would fit in the Penske truck to take it to
awesome.
California. Yeah, it happens. I hate to say that's the normal. We see that every now and then. We've also put units in the back of pickup trucks, 1-ton trucks. And I always ask the question, how are you going to unload that? And they say, I've got a hill I can back up to. All right, just don't break your tailgate. So, pretty common.
Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah.
I think basically we've gotten the whole dealership tour. We've
Right.
seen all the aspects of it. What you haven't seen is my new machine I'm getting. Well, that's it for my video today. You have now walked with me through America's largest Chinese mini excavator and mini skid steer dealership. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm excited about this stuff. If you didn't pick up on a couple things I said, I did maybe purchase a new machine. So more to come on that later. I'm excited about that. It may or may not be a diesel machine. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I really appreciate every one of you. If you have any comments, want to see any more content, want to see something different, you have any suggestions for what you want to see, let me know. Leave it in the comments. Besides that, enjoy your time in the trees or in the lines of mini toys.